Hey everyone, welcome to this video. If you're new, welcome in. Glad to have you. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're coming back, glad to have you again. This video is going to be touching on our Libra's placements for, the Mercury, Uranus, and etc. So here we go. Only elevate, never let them break, never let them break, yeah. Never let them take, yeah. Never let them break, never let them break, yeah. For that, starting with our Mercury in Libra, again, Mercury's communication and intellect. A Libra and a Mercury would make decisions based off of weighing the pros and cons. These natives really want to focus on making the perfect choice and a balanced choice. So they weigh the pros and cons of things to figure that out. Although they do all of that to try to figure out a decision, just know that sometimes when these natives make a decision, it is not the definite answer. Even if they gave you a definite answer, they can be very indecisive. So they can be up and down. They may change their minds. They may change their minds a lot. The reason being a little bit is because they rather wait and see. It's like, I kind of get it. It's like when you don't really want to make a decision, you rather just let it play out. And I get it because sometimes things don't always work as you decide them to, as you plan them to. So it's like you kind of got to improvise certain times. So it's like Libras and Mercury, they're like the improvisers. They want to make sure that they're making the right decision, but at the same time, they're just going with the flow in the back of their minds. These individuals hate controversy. So if it's something that's going on they don't agree with, they'll hold that inside. So they're not going to tell you they disagree. They're very agreeable. So they'll do that just to keep the peace and to avoid controversy. And they're also just very gentle and kind. They do have great instant flashes of intuition that'll come to them. Sometimes though, because they're very intellectual beings, their intellect can kind of get in the way of their intuition. So what that means is like they'll have an intuitive thought or an intuition will come, an epiphany, whatever you want to call it, will hit them in a flash, but they may second guess that intuition as their mind starts to roll in their intellect and they start to think about things. They may just second guess that. These individuals work best in creative endeavors with partners, so they may find that they work well and better in those situations. And they may also look for a strong person just to partner with. The reason being is so that they can keep motivated. As I said, Libras do very well in partnerships. A Libra is really good in relationships. They thrive and they spend a lot of their energy building relationships and partnerships. So they look for a strong individual that can help motivate them when it comes to anything creative that they're working on. Next up, we have our Venus in Libra. Now, this is like a great placement. Now, our Venus people in Libra, they love love, okay? They love beauty and all of that. They can easily fall in love, actually. The most romantic and sensual out of all of the Venuses. They're the type that can believe in love without mixing sex in. So some people feel like, oh, if the sex is not right, then we can't get, we can't have love. But these individuals will be the type that they're not going to look at it like that. They'll be the ones to more so make it work. Even if they don't look at the sex as so great, they believe in having great love without having the great sex. They are all for candlelit dinners, anything like romantic gestures, reading them poetry, buying them elegant, extravagant gifts. They actually require it. It's like a requirement of theirs. If you are not giving the Libra Venus these things, it's possibly possible that they will dismiss you. And with the Venus and Libra, also they do very well in creative ventures, especially when it comes to marriages. So in marriages, these individuals work really well in getting creative works done. Next up is our Mars in Libra. Mars does touch on assertiveness and sex drive. These individuals have an impulsive yet very sensual sex drive. They spend a lot of energy in this placement creating emotional relationships. And being that Mars is how you assert yourself, these individuals are not the most aggressive, and it actually turns them off. If you're coming off as very vulgar, very crude, very mean, that can turn off this Mars Libra. These individuals, like I said, they're not the most aggressive. So when it comes to sexual affairs, they'd rather be the submissive versus the aggressor or the dominant one. They do prefer more so sophisticated, elegant type of love affairs, but also in this position with the Libra, it can kind of be disappointed a lot in their love affairs and unhappy in their sex relationships. And they are heavy believers, as a Libra is all about justice, being fair. They're heavy believers in fair play and heavy believers in passion. And another thing that these individuals are very capable of doing is giving a very great impression. Such a great impression that others could sometimes be envious of how great they are, and given that impression, they're very poised naturally as a Libra and elegant. So in this placement specifically, they are able to give the most envious of impressions. They give very long-lasting impressions. Next up, we have our Jupiter in Libra. As a Jupiter in Libra, they have the most luck in anything creative or dealing with beauty and art. They have a natural artistic eye for art and beauty. A lot of natives in this placement will be artists, talented musicians, painters, writers, decorators, fashion designers. These individuals do have luck in marriage. As I said, Libra does great with partnerships. When you think about Libra, you think about partnerships. So they do have a lot of luck in marriage, and that luck from their marriage brings us social status and wealth. They're the luckiest in the times of where the sun is in Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And these individuals will also find great success and luck in being judges, lawyers, diplomats, because they like to find balance and reasoning. Next up, we have our Saturn in Libra. Saturn is discipline and pretty much how life throws you obstacles. This is actually a great placement with the Saturn in Libra. These individuals are gifted with good judgment and making good lasting impressions as well. The obstacles Saturn may throw on these individuals is having difficulty in relationships. It may bring them sorrow and disappointment, but they do have really great success in marriage. Although they do have good success in marriage, it's still a possibility for these individuals to marry and divorce before they find the right person. These individuals know how to balance. They're all about balance, so they know how to balance their submission and aggression. Now, it's said for these natives possibly to have, even though Saturn doesn't deal with love, but just something that these individuals may have with this placement, they may find that they have a love of their life or early love at the early ages of their life that later on may turn out to be the love of their life. So it's like when you have your first love and then y'all go y'all separate ways and then y'all come back together like, oh, this is what we were meant to do. We were meant for each other. You know, y'all come back together like, oh, you were always the one, you know. So these individuals, they have a knack for that type of thing happening. Also, a lot of the times, because a Libra is all about justice. So these individuals have to be careful because they can find themselves easily getting into trouble just by doing things they're not supposed to do. Because a Libra is about fairness and being just. So for Libra and Saturn, is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they can easily get in trouble. Next up is Uranus and Libra, which Uranus and Libra is about Uranus is about individuality. In a Libra there, they express their power through relationships. As I already stated so many times, they're all about partnerships and relationships. So this individual would express their power through that. They do like a lot of unconventional and unusual type of relationships. They can also be involved in a lot of relationships that are quick to start and they're quick to end. They have exotic tastes. Libra is all about beauty and art, so they have exotic tastes when it comes to art and decoration. And they have an appealing charm that makes very memorable impressions. So also have a knack for making great impressions in this placement. Then next we have here is our Neptune in Libra. Neptune, you have to be born between 1942 and 1957 to have this placement. This was called the love generation. Libras are all about love. So this was at the time of the love generation, quote unquote. These natives could have possibly seeked a lot of balance and harmony and were bothered by unjust actions going on. These natives have a strong magnetic attraction when it comes to the opposite sex. And these natives could have also lacked determination and willpower. The United Nations, that was founded during this time to help establish more peace and harmony. Also at this time, people were trying to find success in love and just trying to have that love overall. This era brought a lot of questioning when it came to values of marriage. And it's said that during this time, there was an increase in the divorce rate. People were just very eager and just trying to make sense of love, questioning marriage and just trying to make sense of it all. But it also had that, going on with the increase of the divorce rate. So people were just trying to figure things out. Next up is Pluto in Libra. To have a Pluto in Libra, you have to be born between 1971 and 1984. This time brought up some peace and harmony. The Vietnam War ended. You had some countries come together and become allies, such as the United States and the Republic of China. This was the Watergate era, which helped restore new order to the government. It helped balance out the powers between the Congress and the executive branch. Also, there was going on at this time the passage of equal opportunity laws and also the Equal Right Amendment. So a lot of things were just occurring that were establishing a lot of balance and harmony. Because Pluto does cause destruction a little bit to transform things, the destruction occurred with problems in close relationships. So a lot of relationships were abruptly ending with this transit. Overall, a Pluto in Libra's job was to just bring peace and harmony. But that is all for our Libra placements. We have one more sign to do, and we're completing this series here. So we're going to do Scorpio next. Stay tuned, subscribe. We have some good stuff coming and coming and coming. And that's what she said. Yeah, we're going to have some more stuff coming. Check the description below. As far as my birth chart series, first video, which I described the placements for the planets and what that means. So check that out. Also, to connect social media, check that out. Check out my music for the song that's playing in this video for my intro and outro. That is my song. Check out my music if you like to hear more. But comment and let me know what you think if you have any questions. And thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Stay safe and stay blessed.